Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Pros MLB. This is Leading Off Live, brought to you by Bet365. Bet $5, get 150 in bonus bets when you use the promo code Leading Off only on Bet365. It is me, Joey P. That, of course, is the Welsh, and it's you, the Peanuts and the Cracker Jacks. And I am starting the process of getting up to speed on the new prospects that are going to be entering the MLB draft very soon. I'm high on Travis Bazzana highlights. All the Bazzana I can handle. Is it Bazzana or Bazzana?
Travis Bazzana.
We should call the whole thing off. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. It's like the Bazzana bananas. Do that, Joe. I thought you were going to say you started the process of hating baseball and wanting to move on to greener pastures. Baseball. You hate baseball.
This is that time where I'm doing football drafts and football shows and baseball shows, and my brain starts to melt. And, we want to try to keep as much of it in there. There's very little that's useful to begin with. But watch the show know that already.
Something that's very rejuvenating can be All-Star Weekend when you watch the futures game and you get to see the next big guys, which is going to be this weekend. The MLB draft, which is this Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Follow my Twitter. I'll probably be doing some stuff there. I've already started the process of putting together. I've got top 25. I'm actually up to like in the 30s. But by this weekend, I'll have the top 50 amateur ranks. So first-year player guys from this draft already ranked out. But it is very top-heavy, and it kind of starts, and it doesn't end with Travis Bazzana, but it starts with Travis Bazzana and a few other big names.
I watched the Charlie Condon guy, and color me unimpressed with Charlie Condon. I'm not. He looks like Chris Bryant 2.0, and I was never a big Chris Bryant guy. I think he's a little tall, lanky. I get why they like him, but I don't see it. Bazzana, on the other hand, that I see. I get that. But we're going to be having some recap, all that stuff next week for you guys. So remember, no live shows next week on Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday, we're going to have a little bit of specials running here. We're going to take a little bit of a blow, right? Rejuvenate the Joey P a little bit for the stretch run. And then we are going to be back live next Thursday. So that's going to be a good time. But we're still live all week. Welsh is going to be out. Get a little, you're going to blow this week, right? Thursday, Friday?
I hope so. I'm going up north it's called Flagstaff up here, up north to escaping the 115 to get to like 90.
85.
Yeah, it's like 85 in the woods. So, I'll
be really 85 in the woods? Are you doing that?
You know what? It's going to be in the 70s. I think it might rain a little bit. Thank God. So just any weather change. But yes, I will be out there. And tomorrow, we have the little mini Fantasy Pros meetup happening out here. I'm going to be at the Braves game tomorrow, and we got some of our Fantasy Pros employees that are going to be hanging out.
Well, tell the gang I said hello. I got a lot of Euro and Copa to watch too. Been watching a lot of the soccer. But they're here for baseball. So let's talk baseball here, and let's start with Wyatt Langford. 2-run homer yesterday, a double. The Rangers beat up on the Angels 9-4. Just for some context here, Langford is hitting .366 with 4 home runs, 7 doubles, 18 RBIs in his last 19 games. His OPS, Welsh, has risen from 612 to 750 over that period of time. Adolis Garcia, by the way, also dropped to 5th in the lineup with Langford taking over in the cleanup spot. How you doing? Oh, Welsh, I had a lot of bad beats in the beginning of this future season because I had a lot of Spencer Strider shares for some Cy Young stuff and a couple parlay things I thought were going to hit. Julio Rodriguez, obviously not hitting this year. This could make it all back for me. And I'm very excited about what Wyatt Langford's doing.
Me too. I have my preseason bet on him. So I'm invested. I wasn't as hardcore. You're getting a lot of thanks. You have been in the chats and stuff. I have not been as hardcore about you have to go and bet Langford, but I was already invested in Langford preseason. So I'm excited about this bounce back. Just hit 300 in the month of June. He's hitting over 300 again in July. And those are like absolute key points that he's had a complete bounce back for a nice big second half. He's also hitting both sides of the plate really well. 291 against lefties. Just about 270 against righties. Power distribution is relatively even. The overall metrics haven't caught into this is a abundantly extreme, high-end percentile player, but he has gotten to at least league average at every single point. Barrel is moving up, hard hits moving up, but he's under 20% K rate. I think he's going to walk away with it at this point. I really do. I think Langford, Heel just had a fantastic start over the weekend. That's great. But if Langford keeps at this pace, he's gonna get it. And that's the tough thing here with hitters versus pitchers. Paul Skeens, just moving it real quick to there. Paul Skeens is going to be the difference maker, where usually if you have like two similar guys, the hitter's going to win over the pitcher. We saw that happen with the Braves a couple years ago. Michael Harris beat Spencer Strider, but Skeens is the one where he's such a polarizing figure. If he keeps up his pace, doesn't matter what Churio and Jackson Merrill do, like no one's going to be able to take that. But over here in the AL, Luis Gil, I think at this point, if these guys both finish out, if Gil just keeps going strong and Langford goes strong, Langford will take that award. And we've been saying,
by the way,
great buy.
Langford plus 135. He's not the leader on the board for that award. How you doing? Plus 2,500 3 weeks ago. Now plus 135, the leader. 3 weeks. That's all it took. And we had the blueprint. It was the Gunnar Henderson blueprint of last year. It was staring us in the face. By the way, I think Vegas in the chat here needs maybe hungover. Langford isn't winning Rookie of the Year. LOL. Mellor Skeens will win Rookie of the Year. Hey, key to Vegas. Those guys play in the National League. Wyatt Langford plays in the AL. There's 2 awards. Whoops. LOL. Don't LOL me. Whoops. I will call you out.
LOL is a very defensive thing, by the way. When someone LOL, it's like, ooh, you're being snarky. But I read a lot into text, so don't LOL me. Yeah, LOL him.
And they're sticking to it. Rookie of the Year is both divisions. First of all, they're leagues.
It's not.
There's divisions within the leagues. Vegas, you're digging yourself a bigger hole here, buddy. Listen, pal. Take a walk, maybe get like a Logan Paul prime energy drinks. Get kind of ramped up again. I don't know, but just relax, buddy. Take a deep breath. Are you an LOL guy or a haha or like an emoji face guy when you reply to something?
Well, I mean, I think you and I talk all the time. I actually go between them both.
I want to open behind the curtain for everybody else here. I am not an LOL guy. I'm more of an emoji laugh guy or a ha 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 guy.
Okay, so here I actually have 2 distinctive versions of this. Ha ha is me acknowledging something funny. Like you say something and I'm like, I'm LOLing actually, but I'm ha ha ha. LOL is actually more of like a punctuation on something where it's like, look at this ridiculous thing. Can you believe this guy said this? LOL. Like I use LOL as a punctuation. So I have very distinctive versions of it.
All right. We made money on Ellie de la Cruz yesterday. That was a good one. He didn't hit a home run, but he did hit both props I wanted. And 2 for 3, a walk, a double, 2 runs. So we got the total bases, check. Drove in a run, also stole 2 bases, check. We got the 1 stolen base. O'Neill Cruz, not to be outdone by another Cruz, 2-run homer of his own against the Mets on Monday. Chris Paddock off the IL, 2 runs, 5 innings, no decision. Again, be very careful with him. Those splits are horrendous. And then the Braves really kind of screwed us last night because they moved Chris Sale right after the show to Tuesday so they could squeeze in another start for him, I guess, on Sunday. That's what they're trying. I don't know what the hell they're doing, but I'm annoyed because, I wanted Chris Sale yesterday. Now I'm getting Chris Sale today. Yeah. Whatever. A little annoying, but so be it. But nothing is wrong with Chris Sale. That's the big thing we want to get across here. So if you're panicking, don't. Everything is okay.
But he probably now is, or not probably, I would assume he is out of starting the All-Star game. And that I think he deserved to be the starter, which actually opens up maybe Paul Skeens. I don't know. I mean, I know Key to Vegas would probably say, wouldn't Corbin Burns start the All-Star game for the NL? No, it's AL. But I'm just saying, like, I think Paul Skeens might be a guy that could now start that because we're not going to see Chris Sale, which is disappointing. Joe, can I ask you, I want to bring up something that's not on the show sheet here. And a couple people brought it up in the chat. If you would forgive me for one moment for being a little bit of a homer, but I do think it's important in the fantasy world because you can see Wonky talking about it, but I don't see on here, and forgive me unless I scouring through the sheet missed it. But can we talk about what happened with the Diamondbacks yesterday?
Sure. The floor is yours. I mean, I think I do have a Shelby Miller note.
That's not who we're talking about. We're not going to talk about Shelby Miller.
Well, I was going to say, I wanted to harken back, and I was going to say, I was member berries. I was going to say, remember Shelby Miller? Remember that? That was fun. Yeah. Like, that doesn't really count as a Diamondbacks note. So go ahead. Yeah. What do you got?
Well, first off,
1,000,000 saves. You want to talk about that?
Well, that's one of the pieces. But first, I wanted to mention Yelber Diaz. I don't know if I assume most of you guys, especially like you East Coasters, were not dialed into that start. But Yelber Diaz, who was in I think high AL last year, double A this year, put on a pretty great show, hitting 98 on the fastball, sitting 96. I'm going to give you the stats here on him. 29% CSW, 24% whiff rate. He was fastball slider with some knuckle curve. That's that curve I mentioned yesterday that he throws. Really great pitch. And he's staying in the rotation. And I think this is key. I'm not saying that Yelber Diaz is a must pick up and a must start, but I'm going to be paying attention to where those starts are because he looked phenomenal. Really good command. The fastball popped, and he didn't even unleash the curveball. I think Yelber Diaz is someone in deeper leagues you should pick up, and you can look to stream. But the other thing is, Paul Sewald is a disaster. 3 straight blown saves. They said they're going to give it right back to him. This guy looks cooked. He's destroying the Diamondbacks games. He's destroying fantasy teams right now with these 3 straight saves. Do you think there's any scenario where he is out of that gig? Because I know a lot of fantasy owners are getting pissed right now. Diamondbacks are still holding to it. I mean, one more and he's got to be done. But this is also a team that what's the most difficult thing to deal with? It is bullpen help, but they've got Kevin Ginkel and they've got Justin Martinez. I don't know. I think Diamondback fans are furious with Paul Sewald, but these blown saves, there's only so much longer we can do it.
I think it's a good chance he is out of it because they're kind of fighting for their relevancy here in these next couple of weeks. You mentioned it. This is kind of like the what or get off the pot moment. And also troubling is that you don't look at the show sheet. I just want to throw that out there too. You're like, oh,
I scanned it. I scanned it. I didn't see Yelber Diaz though.
I work tirelessly every morning. I get up at 6:30. The roosters are crowing next door, literally, because my neighbors have chickens, and I'm making the show plans. It's hurtful. It's hurtful.
Joe's about to say, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
No, but to your point, look, Sewald pitched well above his head last year. I think we could all agree, and probably for 2 years when you look at the body of work of Sewald. So yeah, I think there's a good chance what you're saying is true, and they are going to move on, which means that if you were counting on Sewald for saves, you're going to have to make a change here sooner than later. And yes, he is in the downs today, by the way.
And I just saw that. I was looking for the Yelber thing. One thing to note, the Diamondbacks obviously want to keep going for this. They took a really important series from the Padres, but Paul Sewald, if he's blowing saves, they had to win that game last night. They can't keep losing these games. This team is willing to be a seller, maybe to small degrees. Paul Sewald doesn't have a big contract. I actually think Paul Sewald, even if the Diamondbacks are tiptoeing, could be a guy that they could move off of just to get something, and because they've got bullpen help. And if they were to do that, I don't think it's guaranteed he could go to a team where he is closing again. So not only could Paul Sewald have this risk, he might be a guy that could end up losing it just by being traded. So, you guys can move off of Paul Sewald. I would, as I think the Diamondbacks should.
Well, he could just be bullpen help for somebody else,
No, yeah, but unless you're playing a holds league, it doesn't help.
No, it's not. It's not. I'm just saying, but I could see another team going, you know what? Yeah, give me Sewald back too. Let's get some bullpen depth of a veteran guy. Just kind of, fresh paint a coat.
Yankees.
Nate used to say.
Yankees would probably love that, but I just think he would be traded to. So I just think there's a lot of bad stuff that's going on with Sewald right now. Best case is Diamondbacks keep winning and he stays a Diamondback, but I think there are 2 scenarios where he stays or traded where he loses some closing spots. So
all right, a couple fun notes here. Shelby Miller, 9th inning, got a save yesterday against the Guardians. I just thought that was fun. There's a part of me who goes, Shelby Miller, that's just a fun thing to kind of see in the baseball sphere. What was that? That was the Dansby Swanson Shelby Miller, right? That was the trade back in the day.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, because right. The Upton one brought all the other dudes. They brought Diamondbacks.
There's another Justin Upton. That's another player I haven't thought about in a long time. The Braves selected the contract of Eddie Rosario. So there you go. Second life for Eddie Rosario. And finally, Lars Nootbaar has come back from the 10-day IL. So thank goodness. Also on the IL, working his way back, infield prospect Junior Caminero from that quad injury. You mentioned that just the other day. Yeah. Rehab assignment starts today. Well, it's becoming a lost season, and I think this is important here to talk about Caminero for a moment because I had very high expectations. I know you did too. Mine were probably even higher than yours. They have obviously been lit on fire and stomped out for 2024. How much of a problem is this, though, to his development over a year? Because, in those keeper leagues, dynasty league formats, we've seen guys like Byron Buxton miss significant time in their developmental, and it really set them back. you've seen this with a lot of players over the years where it's like, hey, this guy's really talented, but kept getting hurt or kept having injuries and that lost time. And then they get forced up to the big leagues maybe before they're ready. So do you see any problems with that with Caminero, or he's just major league ready and this is just kind of a blip on the radar?
I think it's the latter there. I think it's just a little bit of a blip. I will say, from like a macro perspective, it is interesting that the baseball is just different in April. Maybe May is the transition, but like March and April, like the colder weather, like there's just a different, whether it is physical baseball or, how the ball flies, how pitchers are reacting to then the summer months. So then you're going to get a guy that's going to come in and, have maybe a chunk of major league debut kind of on the back end of the summer. What that might look like next year, that just might be like a small anecdotal thing. But at the end of the day, it's just, we didn't see any like physical play regression. We saw physical like injuries, but his play wasn't like taking this big backslide. So no, I think we're okay. It's kind of a lost year. I do think what's tough about him is he had major league time last year. Cause what I would have said is if he hadn't, they'll wait till September, they'll call him up and then they'll have his rookie eligibility next season. Since that's already started, I'm not sure that they care about that. They want to save money in every instance and they want to have extra control over players. But I think as August comes in, that's when the clock starts ticking. The Rays are not quite out of it, but they're like pretty close. But I think we will see Caminero sometime in the very early August run back with the major league team.
Real quick, one more question on the rookie. I've been watching some Jack Caglione, my people. First baseman, left-handed pitcher from Florida. He's going to be in the draft coming up this weekend. Two-way player. Impressive two-way player. Is he going to be a two-way player in the major leagues, or is this just like, nah, he's going to end up being a hitter when all is said and done?
I don't think so. I think it would depend on the team, but I'll say this. Like the Giants, for instance. The Giants were a team that drafted multiple players. Actually, I think Caglione kind of compares to Bryce Eldridge, who was a two-way player who they drafted, but they killed their two-way play. Reggie Crawford and Eldridge, they just said pick a spot. And Reggie Crawford is now a pitcher. Eldridge is now a position player. I don't think
I'm trying to think of who else recently. Remember McKay when he was with Tampa Bay?
The Rays kind of consider that. I think a lot of teams have given up. The Giants were one. The Rays were kind of one. There's not a lot of others that are doing this out there anymore.
When the Ohtani experiment has been so wildly successful, and it saves you a roster spot, basically.
Well, I mean, that was like a major league ready guy who was at two spots. I think you have young kids in a developmental state that I don't think baseball is prepared, or I don't know. They don't think the juice is worth the squeeze at the end of the day. Bubba Chandler, who was a prospect with the Pirates, was a two-way player for a short period of time. They almost do it just to like make the guys feel good and then say, hey, we got to be a professional and go. All of this to say Jack Caglione is going to be a top 5 pick this weekend. He has some of the biggest, most tremendous power out there. 120 EVs and stuff. Yeah. If he goes to Cincinnati or Colorado, he's going to be a huge fantasy asset. But again, a lot of college guys. I know a lot of people don't play Dynasty, be like, ugh. This is very college heavy draft that's coming.
Why does everyone who plays Dynasty start off every sentence with
Well, those people that don't play in Dynasty, they're like, oh, you talk about.
Oh, those people don't.
Yeah, they don't. They're like, all these guys are college. There's like 9 of the top 10
I love
picks.
it. That is such a trope in all of like the fantasy sports world too, football world, baseball world. Like, whenever someone's stupid, automatically the first thing out of their mouth is,
that's how I view them. That's how as soon as I see the troll, they're like, ugh. But it's all college guys, and any of these college players, we now know. You've seen like Paul Skeens. The clock could start ticking. I'm not saying Bazzana or Caglione, especially Caglione, no, but they could be up sometime next year with that development. The guys that are going into the College World Series, Chase
Caglione's got the size. Like I look at Caglione, that's a grown ass man right now. Like that guy, I could see him going.
Boy.
I could see him going straight through like year and a half of development. Like he play A ball in the fall, get him up to, maybe start an A ball next year, double A. And then if things go well, like go through triple A or even just promote him from double A. And Colorado needs some help in the worst way. They have nothing going on. They are miserable as an organization right now.
Do you see Ezekiel Tovar is like 0 for his last 20?
Yeah, we talked about it yesterday.
Yeah.
You were here, right?
No, I just
was also in the show sheet.
He also had more not hits.
July.
Yeah, 0 for everything. He's awful right now. He's just not good. He's overrated. I've always said he's kind of overrated.
All right, 3 up and 3 down. Eloy Jimenez, a sighting. 2 for 4 with a walk, which he walked very slowly because it's Eloy Jimenez. We like to have fun here on the show. Andrew Abbott, 7 shutout innings. We got a W there, 3-0 over the Rockies. And then Brandon Nimmo, 2 for 4, his 14th homer. Look at Brandon Nimmo. Look at you. Good. I feel like Sam Jackson. And look at the brain on Brad. Like, look at Brandon Nimmo with his 14 homers. 3 down, Paul Sewald, 3rd straight blown save. No bueno. James Wood, 0 for 4, struck out 2 times. Why can't we have nice things? Also 3 down. Speaking of down, sent down DJ Hertz. Wiki scratch. Sent down to AAA Rochester. Injury news. Mike Trout took soft toss and he jogged outside before Monday's game. So there you go. Little soft toss.
Touch grass.
Slow jog. Touch grass.
The kids would say.
Yeah. Speaking of the Angels, they activated Anthony Rendon from the 60-day IL. When asked for a comment, Anthony Rendon said, how do you feel about being activated? He said, whatevs. That's what he said. He's like, whatever. It's fine. I'll go play Major League Baseball.
Cap. Saying stupid things that I shouldn't.
I want to do more when reach for comments. We should do that more.
We need the pictures of them now.
We got to workshop that. Yeah, we got to ask Ethan to make a graphic for us. When reach for comment, Anthony Rendon regarding his return to the Angels said, whatevs.
He said LOL. He texted LOL. Yeah.
He chose violence. Yeah. Ketel Marte was back yesterday after missing a couple games with a back. See what I did there? It's like back stuff. Merrill Kelly, Merle, through a bullpen session today. We'll see how that goes.
Also, Eduardo and Jordan Montgomery all throwing today. Just want to point out all that Salt River Fields. All 3 pitchers are throwing.
Everybody's throwing. Great. Maybe they'll throw for the big league. Well, that is the thing. If you are Arizona, you could look at this and say, hey, if we get Montgomery healthy and right and Eduardo back and Gallen's back now, do we have a run in us? I think De Los Santos has to come up. Like, you have to make that move. You just have to get that bat in the lineup.
And that's what
push the chips in. Yeah.
The AZ Central, the big paper out here, that's what they had talked with Mike Hazen. And they said, no matter what the Diamondbacks do, it'll be kind of like soft buying or soft selling. They're not because they view this is actually very much like what the Suns did years and years ago with the draft. They didn't draft any guys and they're like, but we got Amari Stoudemire back. The same thing here is they're like, we don't need to make trades because we're going to get Eduardo and Merrill. Like, we're going to get an entire rotation back. So any trade would be kind of maybe a bat or a relief pitcher, or if they want to cover themselves, move off of Sewald because he's not helping you, and just prioritize that, and you get your whole rotation, and you give it a go. You give it your best go. As I punch my mic.
Speaking of giving it its best go, look who's in the Dr. Glenn is back in the chat.
Wow.
Dad. Yay. Hi, Dr. Glenn. Send hello to me and to Wonky, but not to you.
Guess not. Okay. Well, see you in another year.
Some people do like Welsh best, by the way. A lot more. Most people. That's probably more accurate. They do. They like the Welsh. I know. I did cleaning up all the time. They're like, oh, Welsh, I love you. I got a question for you. And I'd be like, well, what about me? You don't like me at all?
It's like the couple prospect people. You're very well loved. I mean, you're not giving yourself
not like
credit.
Those redraft people.
Oh, Joe, you set your lineup. When you leave,
you set your lineup on Easter Sunday. You forgot because the first time you seen your family in 2 years because of COVID. You forgot. You don't care about the community. No, I don't. You're right.
These are fun inside jokes we're having, but people are going to be sad when you leave in a couple of weeks. Also, coming off the All-Star break.
That's true, by the way, folks. That is a true story. Somebody dragged me on the internet once. True story, in an expert quote unquote league, whatever. That it's like one of these giant tournament things because I didn't set my lineup or put in transactions on a Sunday, and it was during COVID time. It was the first time I'd seen my family in like a year and a half, and yeah, I just forgot. It happened. Oops. I should have had my league synced. See, that was before I was working at FantasyPros. I would have saved everything.
LOL.
Would have saved everything. The whole thing would have been fine. Also, the Phillies are saying that Bryce Harper could return as early as today. So, eyes peeled. Oh. Look out for Bryce Harper. Possibly.
My fantasy lineups will be so excited about this. This will be amazing.
I love Bryce Harper. I want to see him back.
Get him back in the All-Star game too. What do you love?
Yeah, get him back for the All-Star game. You know what else I love, Welsh?
What?
I like to follow up a good day of betting with another good day of betting. So let's get after it because today it's time for Tuesday's best bets
of the day
with Joey P and the Welsh. Place your bets over at bet365. Bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets when you use the promo code leading off only at bet365. Remember, you got to be 18 or over in Kentucky for any fun at all. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa. Terms and conditions apply. Welsh, I'm going back to the well today, to the Cincinnati Reds once again. I've logged some Ellie De La Cruz bets over on the total bases. I'm going to go over again on the stolen bases again. If it's hot, it's hot. Let's get in there. Colorado stinks. Also a big day for Colorado because Nick Lodolo returns. So I like Cincinnati on the run line, -1.5 at +125. No structural issues. This was a blister thing. Lodolo should be ready to go and rock things out. Hopefully won't be rusty. But again, it's Colorado, so it shouldn't matter. So Reds at home, +125 at -1.5 on the run line. Also at home on the run line, give me the Houston Astros at even money, -1.5 against the lowly Marlins. Ornel Blanco on the mound at home. He's been great for them this year. And last but not least, you have Bobby Miller pitching for the Dodgers today. So I'm going to look for Trey Turner to go over 1.5 total bases at -115. Now, I like this even more if indeed we get Bryce Harper returning today. So fingers crossed. We'll see how that goes. But those, Welsh, are my best bets of the day for Tuesday. What do you have for the people?
Well, I'm going to be joining you. It was a nice 3-0 day yesterday, so we're going to try to pick it back up. I feel a little bit nervous because some of the things I do like, I have some pairings, and you just put yourself in a much riskier situation. But yesterday, the one, it's like a pseudo win because I had the first 5 money line to play, 1 pushed and 1 won. I'm going back to that well again today, and I'm pairing the Boston Red Sox. So they're the money line to the first 5 innings. I'm backing Brian Bayo over Joey Estes and the A's. And I'm pairing that with the Texas Rangers with Max Scherzer. So both of those are first 5 money lines. Pair those together, +122. So worse like we had yesterday too. Maybe 1 pushes and I'm still winning a little bit. Next up, this is one I actually took last night. I also took a Nerfy last night that you guys can't take anymore because the odds have moved too much. But I took Zach Gallen, alternate strikeouts at 5+. Brandon Bayo, alternate strikeouts at 5+ against the A's. So I'm pairing those two together, and that one was right around -110. I know it's not like great plus money, but bringing those down a little bit. Zach Gallen didn't get a really like bunch of innings in that last start, so I'm a little bit dicey about that, but I think he's going to slice and dice early on. So Bayo, Gallen, pair those together, 5 strikeouts plus. And then finally, playing a little bit of risk here, I'm going with a Nerfy. It's good odds, but the destination is scary. Cincinnati and Colorado. But Cal Quantrill, been pretty good this year. Nick Lodolo back is tough to hit. Both of these teams, Cincinnati is actually Colorado. They both have been kind of in the upper tier as far as runs scored in the first inning. But the matchup as far as the pitchers go makes me feel comfortable to take the risk here. So -115 on that. Those are the best bets. We'll see if I can keep up the streak I got going on. bettingpros.com/our names. Welsh or Joe, if you guys want to follow and see what else we got.
Welsh was 3-0 yesterday. I was 3-1 yesterday. Good times. And make sure you place your bets at bet365. Those, my friends, are the best bets of the day. Welsh, let's take a look at the home run board. I did not get a home run yesterday, so therefore I am dun, dun, dun. But I'm doubling down. I'm going right back to the Ellie De La Cruz. Well, I don't care. Going right back to it. Let's go. By the way, Ellie De La Cruz is learning Japanese, Welsh. So he can speak to Shohei Ohtani at the All-Star game. What a mensch. First he learns English, then he learns Japanese. Ellie De La Cruz. He's a man of the people. He's a gentleman. He's a scholar. I love that guy. So much fun.
Maybe face of baseball. I think like he legit has a shot. I mean, he is going to be
in a couple of years.
I'm incredibly impressed with him. All of the like little picky stuff aside that we have where it's like, oh, he strikes out and goes to the wrist and stuff. Like he is beloved. People outside of baseball love watching him. He's going to steal like 80+ bases this year. I'm into these players that can transcend baseball. They make baseball better. Ellie makes baseball better. And like, he's lovable too. He's got great energy. He's a man of the people. There's not a lot to not like about Ellie De La Cruz. And he's making me have like literally the smartest preseason bet of all time on Betting Pros with my stolen base, leading the league in stolen base bet.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty good. Just stay healthy, baby. Just
love you, Ellie.
I see people picking Vientos for home runs. I see another person going Ellie too. I see Angelo in there. Where are you going for your home run call today?
Oh, did you announce yours? Did you say yours?
I did. I said I'm going with Ellie. That's his whole conversation.
Oh yeah, the whole Ellie. All right, sorry.
Here, like,
there's just a lot going on. I get distracted.
You've got a lot going on. I got 2 football shows after this.
Well, I'm not comparing. I didn't say, Joe, you don't have a lot going on.
I
do.
All the sleeping bags in the car, everybody. Come on, I gotta get, Welsh has got the firewood. He's getting his act. Do you like shirtless, like chopping wood in Flagstaff when you go up there? Is that what you do?
No? Shirtless? No.
Yeah, shirtless chopping Welsh.
No, it'd have to have blurs on me to be in public for that. I'm not going to do that. Everything jiggling everywhere. No, we're good. We're good on anything shirtless. Nothing shirtless ever. Barely wear it in the shower. Today I'm gonna go back to my Gunner well. Gunner always does me good, so we're gonna jump back into the Gunner Henderson home run place. I will say, Lee brought up where's the Welsh wheel. I got a homer yesterday. I got Austin Riley. I have
That's right, you did.
Absolutely no idea where I'm at. 19, 20, I don't know. Maybe Fred.
You got to be close. Here's my dream: is that I fall off that board on August 1st, and you fall right in front of it, and you go. Boom,
and I jump into it. So there's
you jump into it, and then you coast, and you're the villain. You pick up being the villain for me. Although in perpetuity,
I can do that.
Who knows who I might take, and you never know how that's gonna go.
I wonder who you'll take when you're gone for the rest of the season. Will it be Judge or Ohtani? There's no chance it's not one of those.
Well, you never know. One year I took Bryce Harper.
I know what we should do on your last show, which, by the way, everybody, well, we'll tell it later.
No,
I have a fun thing last. But no, on the last show for you, we should do a Joe wheel, and we should put your rest of season pick, and then you spin the wheel, and that's the guy that you go with for the rest of the year.
It probably should be like the wheel of all the guys I've picked over and over again. Like,
yeah,
and then
so Ohtani and Judge
just for fun. No, Ohtani, Judge, Ellie's been on there a bunch. Harper's been on there a bunch. I'm trying to think of who else was in that grouping too.
And then
I've gone to that Julio well a couple times trying to break him out. Alvarez, I had a couple home run. I also had Harper the three home run night, which was pretty spectacular.
And then put like one random guy. That
was the run of all time. It was the Harper 3 home runs, and then the next night the Alvarez back-to-backs, which that was 5 home runs in 2 days. That'll do it for you. I need one of those days. Ellie, if you're listening, let's go. Let's figure it out here. That'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on. For the Welsh, I'm Joey P. We'll see you tomorrow, kids. Enjoy your baseball. Bye.
Peace.